Here we go. Today we have the Bushmills, the Bushmills 10-year-old uh, single malt Irish whiskey. Um, it is a Proximo Spirits product. It is distilled at the old Bushmills distillery. It's 40% alcohol by volume or 80 proof. It is chill filtered. It is color added. That's my water, Mosley. It is triple distilled. Um, and it is 10 years in a mix of ex bourbon and ex sherry cask. Um, what are you doing, brother? Okay. Are you done? You done, kitten? You gonna sit and chill? No? Butt in my face? What are you trying to get into? There's nothing over there. Okay. I thought you were done. We're not gonna full moon the audience. Okay. Yeah, the fact that I'm moving it makes it more desirable. I know. Okay. Are you good? Molesy, you're shedding like a madman. Okay. So yeah, the old Bushmills distillery. They have 1608 on the label, but I can't remember the deal here. I think it's like King James gave like an English knight a license to distill in 1608. I think that's what that is. But like Bushmills wasn't like founded until like 1780s or something like that. So the 1608 is like a knight had his own private distillery. that's uh that's what that is. But I guess it's sort of true. Not quite true. So we'll pour about 50, and then we'll give it some time to sort itself out, and hopefully Mosley will not put his essence in it. I don't want to have to kick you off the desk, brother, but you're kind of wet and wild these days, aren't you? So we'll just give that a few minutes to acclimate here. We'll put Mosley's beverage over here in case he decides he wants some more. In the meantime, maybe we'll clean ourselves up. Huh. I clean this desk every day, and all it takes is a cat about 10 minutes to put it back in a state of disarray. But of course, if there was any thought that we're not doing it live, we're doing it live right now. That's for damn sure. Mm, as good as it gets for the moment. Okay, so if I remember, I can't remember when exactly we opened this bottle, but it was a little while ago. We did a comparison with the old bottle, the old green bottle with the green tube. This one doesn't come with a tube, but as far as I know, everything's the same old specs on it. Um, so there's a little bit of that like fruity kind of character, but there's some of those bourbon notes in there, that honey vanilla thing, and there's also some sherry influence, some of that um, uh, like darker notes on the finish, especially. So we'll see if we still get that level of, we'll say, dimension here. Been open for a little while, so you would think it would be the case, but this glass on this day, we'll see. See what we get here. But of course, this is triple distilled Irish whiskey. It is single malt, chill filtered, yep, and color added, yep. So this is not 10 years barrel impact, and kind of like a little bit from that flight of Isla whiskeys that we did, where it was very clear the Lafroy quarter cask was colored and the rest of them were very translucent or clear, lacking in color. Made it obvious that 8 and 10 years in the barrel really doesn't color that much in Scotland. And I know this is Ireland, but still, this is probably like, obviously, like way too much color. There is a sherry casks, some amount of sherry casking in here, which could, contribute a darker color, but we can be pretty confident that that's not 10 years natural, based on just like what we were looking at the other day. All right, so again, if you haven't seen one of these before, we do 25 points on aroma, 25 points on palate, 25 points on finish, 10 points on texture, and 15% or 15 points on my overall experience. And we'll give it a score. It takes us a little while to start saying some numbers, but we'll give some notes, see how we're feeling. This one's probably going to be. Did we do a comparison between this and the Sexton? I can't remember, but the Sexton obviously is a little younger than this. I think it's only 4 years old. But they might have similar sherry cask influences. So I can't remember if we did a comparison between these two or not. I think we did, but I'm surprised if like the finish is similar. There's a bright, shiny kind of fruitiness about it. Immediately, there is a cereal, a light cereal character. But it's mostly like an apple character, apple juice. That occurs to me right up front. But it's light and bright and shiny like apple juice. Not like an apple fruit, straight up juice. But there is a little bit of maltiness there, that kind of cereal, malty character. There's a little hint of like a red fruit too, like maybe like a strawberry. It's like strawberry, apple juice, a little bit of malty cereal kind of notes. Some vanilla there. Not like there's no like pure sweet note up front, but we kind of know that that's a common transition from the nose to become a little sweeter, with more resting. So we'll expect to try to find like a sugar sweet or honey sweet in a little bit. Yeah, apple juice, cereal grains, a light red strawberry note maybe. And the vanilla's there. Nothing else coming up too obviously on the palate. I can tell a little bit by the legs that the viscosity is not super duper thick, but I mean it's 80 proof, so it's kind of maybe what you would expect. So we'll set it on the palate, get that first sip out of the way, slancha. Palate's pretty soft, pretty reasonable mouthfeel, pretty silky. That triple distilled nature is apparent. That being said, it's very malt forward on the palate, mostly just malt character right up front. That cereal grains kind of malty note is mostly what I get on the palate, at least at first. And there's a little bit of those darker bitter notes on the finish, a little bit of like barrel tannin. Mosley's doing something weird. You're not, brother. Hey. Felt the need to go fuck around with my box of samples. Cat is such a little tornado. he's cleaning his bits over here. In case you were really interested, this might not be okay for Twitch TV. It's a little graphic. That's funny. Yeah, some of that honey sweetness kind of more present now. Yeah, it's like a honey sweetness, a malty character, kind of like honeyed cereal. I don't like a hate honeyed oats maybe as a nose note. Apple juice still. A little bit of strawberry and vanilla. So kind of like all the bases, I guess you would expect. You kind of got a malty note. You got some fruity notes. Some of that bourbon cask influences in there. Some of that sherry cask influences in there. And you kind of have like a baseline sweet note. So honeys, cereals, apple juice, strawberry, vanilla. That's pretty much the whole nose in a nutshell at this moment. We try to find something else, but I'm really satisfied with that set of notes. Try to dig deeper, but nothing really too new there. Alright, we'll hit the palette again. See if there's more of a palette there other than like a cereal character. Again, that triple distilled nature is really apparent. The mouth feels very silky soft, but There's mostly, again, mostly just like a cereal malty palate. Palate's very malt forward. Maybe a whisper of like an orchard fruit in it. On the finish, there's still a little bit of barrel impact. Still quite malty. A little bit of those darker sherry notes on the finish, kind of like not quite tobacco, just like an unsweetened dark chocolate kind of note. Finish is probably like medium minus. So it's kind of like a really similar to Sex in a few ways. The nose is pretty nice. The palate is a little lacking, and the finish is okay. Now the section I think had a better finish versus its palate, or this one I feel like versus its nose, but I think this one has a better nose versus its finish. Its finish is okay, you know, maybe above okay, but just not a whole lot of dimension. The intensity of flavor is not really there. There's a couple things going on though, but it's a good, I think, aside from the palate, the nose and finish are a good representation of the casking involved. They both have a little bit of the sherry character. They both have a little bit of the bourbon character. And then the malty character is just consistent throughout the whole experience. And then like maybe the best thing about the palate is again that triple distilled, silky smooth kind of character. Trying to see if we find some development before we give any numbers here. I will say the one thing I do like about the nose is there's a couple different combinations of notes with like that sweetness and that fruit and vanilla. There's a couple different fruity kind of notes, and it's a little different every time. You might get some of that apple juice, malty character together. You might get some of that sweetness and strawberry together. Maybe it's just vanilla dominating. So it's nice to get like a little bit of variety. It's not just the same every time, so that's good. The nose is maybe the best part of this so far. That being said, there's not a whole lot of different things going on. Just kind of like 5 elements, really. I just want to see if I give it some time, if it'll give me something else, but... we currently have Bushmills 10-year-old single malt. Do you want some? Mom doesn't want some. Just interested? Oh, okay. What's that? You're in Alcohol Anonymous. No, you're not, but okay. No, it's not anonymous. You're not an Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, macros. Yeah, I know. Yeah, whether the cereal, the sweetness, or the like apple juice thing is up front, like seems like almost random in any given nosing. So that's nice. I do like that about it. Again, not too much complexity going on, not too much depth there, but you get a little different, a little couple different combinations. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, even if we hold it long on the tongue, it doesn't really give us too much more. Here's some wood, unsweetened dark chocolate, slight um, buttery note, that cereal malty character throughout. Just a small hint of a orchard fruit character in the finish. Shorter medium finish maybe. It's not bad. It's not blowing me away, but it's not bad. It's nice and pleasant. Um, there is definitely a smoothness about it, and I think that's again that triple distilled nature. It's interesting we didn't really get a good mouthfeel in that Sexton, which was also triple distilled, but this one feels a lot uh, nicer and silkier on the palate in terms of texture. All right, so we'll see if we can give this something out of 25 on the nose here. Um, a few notes, but they come in different combinations. We're not plumbing the vast, layered aromatic depths here, but in all, there's a honey sweet character, a malty cereal character, a apple juice, strawberry kind of fruit, and some vanilla. And all those things are pretty loud and fighting for your attention depending on the individual time that you raise your nose to the glass. Sometimes it's sweet and oats. Sometimes it's, you know, sweet and fruit. Sometimes it's vanilla dominating the show. So all those things are present and pretty contending, and they kind of appear in different combinations, and that's interesting. Um, for nose, we'll say 18. Give it 18 for aroma. 18 out of 25. That's pretty reasonable. Several strong notes. They come in different combinations, but nothing, no crazy vast layers of intricacy or depth. All right, so we'll focus on the palate. Try to give it a score at 25. Um, probably the weakest part. I mean, it's going to earn some points in texture, but right now it's pretty much just like a malty cereal note, slight whisper of a fruit note on the palate. Yeah, it's pretty much just, I'm getting a nice mouthfeel, but it's kind of like there's a fruitiness and a maltiness, but that's mostly it. So there are a couple notes, but not a whole lot going on with it. Um, we'll say we'll say 12. 12 on the palate. All right, so we'll focus on the finish. Try to focus on the length, which I think right now is like a medium minus kind of length. That being said, there's like a little bit of all that casking that's in the nose. It's kind of like very similar on the finish, except the sherry is a little more expressive, has a little bit more of those deeper sherry impact kind of notes. Maybe override some of that, those lighter characters. Hi, you're back. You're back? What up, brother? Enjoy that mass-produced spirit. It is quite mass-produced. You're right. You're not wrong. Chef Old Wolf. That being said, any spirits that are not mass-produced tend to be quite expensive. Hey, hey, you. What are you doing? You sit and chill? Get your butt down. Because I mean, let's remember, even like older offerings from smaller distilleries, um, they still produce a large volume, right? So, yeah, they produce a large volume. Um, I mean, really, these days, pretty much all you can do is get a single barrel or a small batch, you know, unless you're going to go to a craft distillery, right? But like even smaller distilleries are making hundreds of barrels, hundreds, and then they're proofing them down with water. So, yeah, you proof them down with water, and then you make more bottles. What are you doing? You just increased the volume into the stratosphere. Halsey's here being an agent of chaos, as he is wont to do. Okay. Let's not. Can you not? Oh, goodness. Quality decline in the last 10 years. Probably you're not wrong. I don't have a great frame of reference to comment on it because, hold on, Mosey being weird. Sitting over there beating the shit out of my Walmart reusable bag. Because I haven't been in the game long enough to know what things were like that back then, we'll say, and I don't have the money to experience old dusties like some people do, right? And I can't like freely access, you know, say short age bottlings that are old, or really old bottles that were distilled a long time ago. I don't really have the option for that. Mad that he didn't get his full camera time? Maybe. He was just causing problems with my XLR interface. And I don't want to, like, damage your ears. He pumped the volume all the way to the top. So I don't know how loud that actually is. I have no barometer for that. Fucking meetings, unlucky. You can be here if you just sit and relax and not cause chaos. He's an agent of chaos. It's funny, like sometimes he just does this. And he just sits like this for the whole session. And other times he comes in here and just fucks all my shit up. But what I was getting at is I can't comment necessarily about how good things were before. Now, I know that there is like an ebb and flow somewhat with how whiskey is, right? And I know that there was a period where, you know, there wasn't as much demand and there was a lot of supply. So, like, the average purchase that you made had a higher quality spirit for less money. And like we had a boom, as far as I know, I have a boom in the past 10 years where everyone's buying. There's not a lot of stocks. Prices going up. Quality of the liquids going down. It's my understanding of like the ebb and flow. But like if you look at how much these guys are selling in the past couple of years, they're down sales. The big players, their volume sold, and their dollars, we'll say, brought in has decreased in the past couple of years. So that kind of like might indicate that we might be going back in the other part of the ebb and flow where the prices are probably not going down, they're probably staying the same, but you might get more quality bottlings at the same price point. And of course, with spirits, these distilleries don't know exactly what they're going to sell 10 years from now. So I'm pretty sure these guys have been pumping the stills. The stills have been running. They probably got more product barreled and aging than ever before. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years from now we have a glut, but who knows? It's hard to know what the future will hold. And these guys are making a gamble, but hopefully we get more higher quality spirit for less or same similar money in the future. That's all we can hope as drinkers and not collectors. Now, if you're a collector, it's a different world, right? But if you're trying to make some money at this game, you kind of want to hope that what you bought in the past 5 years is going to go up in price. But as someone who consumes the spirit, you know, we kind of hope that maybe we get higher quality stuff in the future. Obviously, you know, we would like higher proof than this. We would like a longer age statement than this at the same kind of price as this. But there's plenty of things out there that, you know, are at cask strength or better value plays, we'll say. But that's not our job. Our job is not to predict the future. Our job is to just experience what we have available to us now. So maybe if you're someone who's been consuming spirits for a couple decades, say, you feel like you're not getting the same bang for your buck as you used to, and I can definitely understand that. Isn't that right, buddy? Are you going to give me some notes? No? Huh? No? What's your notes? What do you think? Oh, don't like that one? Okay. Yeah, see, sometimes we get this Mosley, where he's not a butt, and he just hangs out. I try to give him an opportunity to do this. But the past couple days, he's been kind of just a menace. Oh, he's inching. He's inching towards those peripherals. I see you, buddy. But yeah, it's hard to like have spirits that are mass produced, like unless you go to a craft distillery, right? Like even Oban is all over the place, and I think they have two stills, right? You know, not everything is producing, pumping crazy amounts of spirit out the window. Even the small guys are everywhere. Like even Aradur, which I think they used to call the smallest distillery in Scotland. I think they've doubled capacity. I think they have a whole another building now, right? So even they're making more. They can't even call it the smallest distillery in Scotland anymore. They got to call it Scotland's Little Gem or whatever they called it. All right, so we'll focus on the finish. And we'll give it something out of 25 here. Yeah, some of that oak, kind of bitter oak character going on. That unsweetened dark chocolate. That cereal malty character is kind of right through the middle. There's maybe like just a mild hint of that orchard fruit character. Finish is like medium minus. Call it medium minus. We're gonna have a hard time using the keyboard, fucking aren't we? Mostly. So it's like there's more than one thing going on, but it's not terribly long or terribly loud. Um, we'll give it like 13. 13. Ardbeg 10, Glendronach 12, Lefroy Corticast, Lichig 10, Aknock 12, Glencadam, Glengarry Founders, not the 12. Yeah, most of those I have with me. Um, the other ones, the Aknock and the Glencadam, I cannot get near me. And I can get a Glengarry Founders. It kind of feels like it's a little expensive though. Like it used to be, you could get a Glengarry 12 around here for like 70 bones, and the Glengarry Founders is like 90 bones. I'm in Canada. So I don't know how you feel about the Glengarry Founders, if it's better or worse than the 12. Because it kind of felt like 12 had an age statement, and then they dropped the age statement, and then charged more. Is that what happened, or is it better? You'll have to let me know. But you're a brave man giving people who want an introduction things like Ardbeg 10 and Lefroy Quarter Cask. That's you're a brave man doing that. To me, I would personal opinion, I would start with a partially peated. That would make more sense to me rather than like giving them a slap in the face right up front. They ain't ready for that shit. But um, I'm sure you've tried it and it's worked wonders, and I hope it has. But for me, I give them a Highland Park, give them a Bamore, something that's not gonna not gonna slap their face if they're not ready for it. Maybe they're ready for it. Depends on the person, right? Some people want that barbecue. Some people don't identify with the space side notes and want a barbecue. They want barbecue right up front. Um, but um, that's quite a thing to make someone go through. You want an introduction, you give them an Ardbeg 10. You gotta taste that blacktop patch, that grassy earth. Like my wife likes the Lefroy Quarter because it's got a cut like a protein bacon thing going on with the sweetness, but she doesn't like Ardbeg. and she hates Lagavulin. At least the Lagavulin 8 that we gave her. We'll try her on that Lagavulin 16. I think she'll like it, but under 30, 35 per liter, yeah, I definitely can't get them at that price. But again, um, I'm in Canadian dollars, so you're gonna add like 35%, and then they also tax things. They tax alcohol pretty heavy over the border over here, so it just ends up being more expensive. Tastes way different than the Founders. So you have access to both. It's not like the Founders replaced the 12. I kind of assumed the Founders replaced the 12. If you're saying both exist, that's interesting. So you think the Founders is a better dram than the 12? Because I was trying to get I was kind of holding out to try to see if I could get a 12, but um, then maybe I'll get a Founders. It's just more expensive, and it kind of felt like it was like maybe I had to settle for the Founders because the 12 was gone. You know what I mean? Different than any other whiskey. That quarter cask does a lot for sure. Um, the weird thing about my market is the 10 doesn't exist. So I've never had a 10. I had a 10 one time several years ago. That was not my bottle. Um, but the quarter is the only thing you can actually get here, which is odd because you know. But I do enjoy the quarter. It's quite good. We did a lineup a few days ago that was like Ardbeg 10, Lefroy quarter. I have a GM Cole Ela 13-year-old, and we did the Lagavulin 8-year-old. And by far in that set, the Lefroy quarter was my favorite. I'd find a brother in the world. I've heard, and I don't know if you know, but I've heard that it has got some similarities in the Lefroy lore, which is obviously way more expensive. But um, my understanding is the lore has some quarter casking going on with it too, but it's also got a sherry thing going on with it. So it's way more expensive, obviously. But there's my understanding from people who've had both is there's some similarities with the quarter cask and the lore. I'd love to try a lore, but don't have any near me, and they're quite expensive too. It's like it was 250 last time I seen a lore around here. It was $250. So you could buy two quarters and some for that. Mo's butt. Look, you can't have any. You're a cat. All right, so take a minute and out of 10, we'll try to judge the texture here. The texture is pretty good because it has that triple distilled nature. Triple distilled gives it that silky smooth character, that silky smooth texture, but maybe strip some of that flavor out. I don't know. These Irishes always seem like they're a little shy on the palate, and I think it might be that triple distillation. Are you going to chill or are you going to beat up my microphone? Hey. It's worse than the last 10 years? Yeah, quite possible, but I don't know. I wouldn't know. You gotta leave that microphone alone. Look, I'm gonna give you a belly rub as long as you chill. Don't. I don't want to turn up the filter. If I crank my filter, any like microphone touches don't get sent to you guys, but it also makes my voice sound a little wonky sometimes, and I don't like it. Hey. Yeah, he's getting a little impatient with my lack of attention for him. No comparable? Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to try the lore and see, since other people have said the lore is similar. I'd like to try the lore and see, but not very many people are playing the game with quarter casks, right? There's like we had the Aaron the Bothy quarter cask the other day. That one, has some of that quarter casking going on with it too, but that's not similar at all. It's just interesting that no one else is playing the game with these quarter cask finish sort of things. So that's definitely, I think, part of what makes it unique, right? Yeah, I like the texture, but it's not especially thick. It's not especially um, oily or velvety. It's just kind of smooth. Um, it's not like really thin like you might get out of an 80 proof whiskey. We'll call it 6 out of 10 still. It's not quite. I just want a little more. I want a little more to give it above 6. What are you doing? You're causing. You're kind of causing a situation here. You menace. You menace. Ben Riek. Yeah, I can't remember last time I seen a Ben Riek product out here. Um, but I'm optimistic for Ben Riek because like GM's in control there now, right? With Ben Riek. So I'm curious how that's going to influence their future offerings. Now they got since GM is in the driver's seat now, and I don't mean General Motors. I mean Gordon MacPhail. Just so we're clear for anyone in the audience, General Motors does not own Ben Riek, but. All right, so out of 15, we're talking about our experience here. It's pretty it's pretty characteristic of bourbon sherry mixed Irish. It's pretty typical. Um, the nose is pleasant. The palate is smooth but lacking. The finish is okay. At least the finish has some different notes going on there. A little couple few of them are different, but it's nothing to write home about. Um, the the proof could be better. It's probably not standout. Um, it's probably like a low distinct, not quite forgettable, but maybe like 5 out of 15, which I know sounds low, but it's kind of just doing the Irish single malt things. All the Irish single malt things, it's just doing them. So we'll go 30, 43, and 11, 64, no, 54. 54 to 100. It's good.